Hi everyone, and this is a super spontaneous live which I want to do about the prediction of our 2023, the upcoming year, because you know that last Sunday it was the beginning of the new rave year according to human design and gene keys. The new year was last Sunday. Hope the sound is not interfering too much, but it is what it is. So I'm 1 week late with this prediction, but still we have the whole year ahead. So let's together dive into that and see what gene keys are standing in what planets and what it will bring us in 2023. And first of all, I want to say that I will be talking today not from the position of actual prediction and what's gonna happen, and that only that situations will happen, but we will together try to discuss and see what lessons are being carried for humanity in 2023. And if we look at this from the position of a lesson, then everything is possible. If we're gonna raise our frequency and we're gonna be good with this lesson and we actually will learn something from this lesson, then the collective frequency of humanity's consciousness will raise and we can see absolutely different reality from what we see now. So I just want to say that everything is possible. So let's discuss and see through the lenses of the lessons. So every rave year starts with the 41st gene key. 41st gene key is the start codon. So we won't speak about this because every year we start from this. And 31st gene key in our sun and 31st gene key in our planet Earth. These gene keys will be the same every time, every year. So we're gonna start our discussion from the moon. Moon represents our emotions. Moon represents our subconsciousness. So in our moon, we have for this year gene key 19, and we actually is going through the gene key 19 right now up till the next week. So what gene key 19 is carrying for us? Gene key 19 is a very magical gene key. It has, one second, I thought I was prepared. It has the shadow of codependence, the gift of sensitivity, and the city of sacrifice. How do we see codependence? We see codependence through, first of all, through our dependence upon external forces, upon God eventually, right? We always try to depend on something outside of us. So the moon will carry for us a lesson this year to start to depend on ourselves, to be independent from outside forces, because as you see, all the structures in the world are slowly but surely collapsing. So the only thing which we can truly depend and which is truly stable is our inner self, our heart. So the moon will carry for us a lesson to look into our heart and to find this base, this support in ourselves, within us. Not to be dependent on emotions because of our emotions and emotions of others, because you see how chaotic the life on earth is right now. So we see moon, the emotional planet, and it will teach us the gift of sensitivity, to be sensitive to others, to other emotions, sensitive to nature, sensitive to animals, become independent and self-reliant. Be sensitive towards emotions. This is a very big lesson of 2023. And independence, self-reliance is a very big lesson of 2023. And again, you see, if we're going to learn this lesson, how differently our reality as humanity collectively will look like. So I'm not giving you here predictions. I'm giving you the open questions that you can, everyone who is watching this, that you can start working on yourself. And this is gonna be the best thing you can do for humanity, to raise the frequency. Okay, and also, yes, the 19th gene key is about the connection with nature, with animals. People with this gift, they can communicate with animals. They feel the animals' needs. Maybe in 2023 will become more understandable towards animals. Maybe vegan people gonna increase, and we're gonna see more vegetarian and vegan diet in 2023. Thanks God, this noise finished. Okay, now let's move to north and south nodes. It's Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology, if you know. So Rahu is about transformation. So, and also Rahu is about looking into the future. Like Rahu goes towards the future and Ketu looks into the past. So what transformation we're going to see in 2023? We have 24th gene key in Rahu, and 24th gene key has the shadow of addiction, gift of invention, and the seed of silence. So gift of addiction, what lessons, what transformational lessons we will learn here? Addictions. Addiction to what? What are you addicted to? To drugs, to alcohol, to smoke, to sex, to your negative thinking, to your negative emotions, to drama. What are you addicted to? You must transform this. You're gonna have, okay, not must, but you're gonna have the opportunity to transform this in 2023. Also, here we understand that next to physical body there is an astral body, and this astral body gives us all of these addictions, all of these desires. Astral body is our emotional body, so all desires are really emotional, because emotions are driven by desire. So all of our desires are rooted in a single desire to escape our suffering caused by our primal wounds and return to a pure state of unity. Why I'm saying this now and why it's so important, because we're going to see this theme of unity throughout all 2023. I don't say we're going to unite in 2023, but I say there is an opportunity for us to make this leap and to learn this lesson. Like, the doors are open. If we're going to walk through the doors or not, it's up to us, but the doors will be there. So here also this transformation through 24th shadow of addiction can bring us to the unity if we can tame our desires. But taming, I mean understanding and reacting equanimously. Equanimously means not reacting to desires, just observing them. So let's see how it's gonna play out in 23, because the programming partner is the 44th gene key. And it's also the 44th gene key, what it brings us, it's responsible for all the dysfunctional relationships in our society. It of course starts from our families, but then it goes further into our communities. Again, now we have communities, codependent relationships. Again, we come into the moon lesson, the gene key 19, codependence. In our communities, we are very codependent. This is the basis of our relationships nowadays, because people gather into communities because of the need to be understood, because of the fear of being rejected, because they need something from others. So this is all the codependent relationships, and codependence is a shadow frequency. So how we can raise all of these frequencies, you see how they all play out together, how they all interconnected? Will we be able to come out of these codependent relationships in 2023? even if just you in your family will be able, it's gonna be a huge shift for humanity for sure. And about also Rahu, how we can make this transformation, how we can make this leap from these addictions, because the gift of the 24th gift of invention, it gives you opportunity to pause, to create these pauses between thoughts, to create these pauses while you're communicating. If you create just this pause before reacting, how different your relationship dynamic will be. Even if we're going to learn this lesson from Rahu, it's going to be a huge shift for humanity. Just a single pause before you emotionally react towards your partner, towards any news you hear, towards any situation you are in today. You just take a pause and you're not reacting anymore. You just see the pattern, and now you can act and you can respond, not react, just respond towards this situation. And it changes all this dysfunctional dynamic right away. So this is a very important gift from Rahu. Now we're going further to Ketu, and Ketu is the 44th gene key. 44th gene key is the shadow of interference, gift of teamwork, and the city of synarchy. So we talked a little bit about the 44th already. So we remember that Ketu looks into the past. Ketu is about spiritual transformation, about the liberation in general. So here the 44th gene key reminds us that every person we meet in our life is a part of a fractal family, of our fractal family. And you see, there is no such thing that you attract wrong or right people. You always attract someone from your fractal family, but whoever you attract resonates on the same frequency as you resonate at this moment. So if you resonate now on a shadow frequency, you will attract people from your fractal family who resonate on the same shadow frequency. But once you're gonna raise your frequency, you're gonna resonate with the people from your fractal family. Different people now will come. You will upgrade your tribe. And this was a great intention for me for 2023, to find my tribe, my soul family, my fractal family. You can name it how you want. So I invite you also to set this intention that we attract our highest fractal family. But to attract that, we need to work on ourselves. We need to liberate ourselves from suffering, that we don't attract more suffering and more drama towards us through the people we meet. So this is a very good lesson from Ketu. You see how Ketu is about liberation and how it plays out. That as we mature, as our awareness and our conscious matures, we attract new kind of people, because our fractal family also is evolving with us. And we saw that at the shadow level we have this dysfunctional relationships in our families, in the business itself, in our communities, in the world dynamic between countries, how dysfunctional the relationships are between countries. Now, the war which is raging in my country, in my native country. All of this are the results of this 44th shadow frequency, that we cannot create relationships from the higher frequencies, from the higher states. We by being in the shadow states as humanity, we choose the leaders of our countries, the people who guide us on the same shadow frequency, and then we expect that they will know how to do it better and how to bring us to the light, bright future. But it doesn't work this way. Those leaders are just mirrors of our consciousness. So each of us need to work on ourselves, raise our frequency, expand our awareness, raise the frequency of our consciousness, and then a different kind of leaders will enter the political stage. Again, it's the 44th gene key, fractal family. Those leaders are the part of our fractal families, and they resonate on the corresponding frequency. If the humanity resonates on the shadow frequency, those political leaders, presidents and prime ministers, gonna resonate on the shadow frequency. So at the gift level, the 44th gene key can read people, can read other people, and can realign with your true soul family, with your true fractal family. So this is the gift which Ketu brings to us to raise our vibrations, to again observe all our emotional reactions equanimously, and to raise our frequencies. Let's move further to Mercury. Mercury is planet of trade, communication, business. I like Mercury. It has very light energy. But in the sphere, let's say, of Mercury, we have the 58th gene key, the shadow of, it's my gene key. It has a very prominent role in my profile. And the shadow of dissatisfaction, gift of vitality, and the city of bliss. Dissatisfaction. I invite you to contemplate this word and see how deeply dissatisfaction has entered your life till this moment. What are you dissatisfied with? With how you look, with what you think, with what you feel, with how your partner behaves, with your life in general, with the global situation in the world, with the climate change, with the lack of money. The dissatisfaction has entered all the layers of our life so deeply. And it has a huge impact on our lives personally and collectively. See how dissatisfaction now plays in our collective, because here we don't talk about personal, we just talk about the collective influence. How people now are dissatisfied with the leaders of the countries. And again, you think, oh, okay, we're dissatisfied that we're going to change something, but you're changing it within the shadow frequency. The dissatisfaction won't change anything, or at least until it is, until you are unaware of your dissatisfaction, and that you act and think and do things from this shadow frequency of dissatisfaction. So what Mercury can give us in dissatisfaction? The way we speak, the timbre or tempo of our voice, how we're dissatisfied every day, how we answer to our neighbors, to our partners, to our family. This is all the communication. Same in sales. Are you doing your business? Are you selling things because you're dissatisfied with your current position, like money position, because you don't have enough money? What dissatisfaction drives you into sales? The dissatisfaction of current way of things in life, because maybe you're dissatisfied how others are selling or what they are selling. What drives you also, like in business, because Mercury is about communication, about business. And only once we're gonna realize this dissatisfaction, when we're gonna see this dissatisfaction and acknowledge it and allow it to be and accept it, that yes, we're dissatisfied, and this dissatisfaction, we're trying with this dissatisfaction to move things, to evolve, only then the true high frequency energy will start to pop up in us, the gift of vitality. And oh my god, I have goosebumps. And this vitality, do you see how it corresponds with energy of Mercury? Like Mercury is a very vital. Mercury is full of vitality, right? Because it communicates, it trades, it's everywhere, it's talking, it's being seen, it's being understood. And only once you have this energy of vitality, then you can be heard, you can be seen, people will buy from you. So what lesson Mercury is trying to give us in 2023? To see the dissatisfaction that rules our lives nowadays, and come up to a gift of vitality, to free this vast reservoir of energy within us. And once we free this vitality, then we can communicate with light, with ease, with love, with flow. Okay, let's move further into Venus. In Venus, we have 49th Jinki. It's a very special Jinki in the whole 64 Jinkis, because it's very much about the mutation and evolution that humanity is currently undergoing. And I have also this Jinki in my emotional content in the sphere of EQ. And the 49th Jinki has the shadow of reaction, the gift of revolution, and the city of rebirth. So Mars, it's a planet of war, of conflicts. So, and we have the shadow of reaction and the gift of a revolution in Mars. Can you see how powerful this energy is and how transformational? Reaction. Let's talk about reaction. We talked about this in our beginning in 24th Jinki, which Rahu gives us this year. If only we can take this little pause before reacting. If only we can become aware of this pattern which now governs our relationship and take a pause. But not only within partnership between two people, but in the collective as well. What about between countries? What about the wars? When one side reacted to another side, one country reacted to another country, and we have a full-scale war in 21st century. This is craziness. So the purpose of the shadow of 49th Jinki initially was to make us less sensitive, or to make us not sensitive at all to the feelings of others that we can kill. And now humanity is still collectively on the shadow frequency. And now in 2023 we have Mars with the shadow of reaction, which has the ability to kill others. Here we have wars where literally people are killing each other physically. And it all comes from the duality of our dual consciousness, how we see everything as good and evil. Oh, this candidate is good, but that candidate is evil. Oh, this country is good, but that country is evil. Oh, this government is good, and that government is evil. This is not the case. This is the duality conscious. It's just your perception, because there's something good in everything evil and something evil in everything good. We need to remember that. So what else I wanted to say here? It's about the mutation. This Jinki, yes, it's about the mutation. So who knows, maybe possibly more people will collectively trigger this mutation to become more sensitive, more sensible towards others, to understand others, to feel others more. And this shadow also comes from the fear of rejection. Also, initially, it was about the territory, about the food, because we don't have enough territory, enough resources, enough food, so we need to kill to conquer, to gain more territories, more resources, and to survive. But in 21st century, we live in a completely different reality. We do not need these shadows to survive. Actually, these shadows are killing our survival. So what is important here? That at the genetic level, unity is seen through the connection to community, God. Again, here we talk about unity. Remember, we talk about unity in 24th gene key. Now we're talking in the 49th gene key, and then we're going to talk major time about unity later. So just keep in mind this unity, this theme of unity, which runs throughout this reading. And this fear of rejection, where it comes from? It comes from the separation from our mother at birth, when the umbilical cord is cut, so we feel rejected unconsciously, subconsciously. And now this wound of rejection runs through our lives. But we must here understand that all these fears on a personal level between our relationships are the mirrors, and the mirror is the global scheme of events. So now we have the wars. Let's talk about Russia and Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, who didn't know? And I never talked about this for the whole year publicly, but because my mother and my grandfather are still there, I can speak from the experience, because I know what's going on there from the first mouth. So you see how people react. We have two countries against each other. And from one side we have a reaction, yes, let's go, the war, we conquer, we're the strongest country, lots of negativity, lots of hatred. From the other side, the same hatred, we will never forgive, we will never forget, never, never, never. All the reactions, all from fear, from anger, from dissatisfaction. All of these reactions are happening, and then the world reacted. But how did it reacted? From what? From love? From wanting to stop the war truly, that the war never exists? Or did it react from fear? All those people, millions of people who came into the parades, why did they go there? To protest. They protesting from which level of frequency? Are they protesting from the higher frequencies, or are they protesting from the fear-based frequencies? That they're scared that the war will come to their country, that they're angry that the war happens in 21st century. What is behind these reactions? Because you see, the gift of this city is revolution, but the revolution is not in the sense how we see it, like in Iran, the women's revolution. But the revolution starts within your heart. The revolution starts when you stop reacting. It's emotional intellect. When you stop reacting. And now, imagine that all those millions of people who are involved in the war, all those millions of people who went out to protest, would quietly sit at home and raise their frequencies into their heart to love. Raise their frequencies as high that they stop reacting. They stop this shadow frequency, the shadow pattern of reaction. That's going to be the biggest revolution in humanity. And then believe me, the war would have stopped in like 2 days if collectively the whole humanity did this revolution within their hearts. They stop reacting out of fear, out of anger, out of pity, out of this victim consciousness. They stop reacting and they raise their frequency to love. Because these wars are happening because of the frequency of mass consciousness of humanity, which is on the shadow level. So we must create this revolution within our hearts, stop being the victim of our emotional reactions, and violence will decrease. Only this how the violence will decrease, when we will stop being the victims of our emotional reactions. And only then we can manifest peace in this world. Global peace. Lasting peace. Not because we impose limitations, not because of people are scared to being punished if they, destroy these laws, but because we have peace within ourselves, with our emotions, and with our thoughts, with our partners, with our family, with our neighbors, with our community, and then we're going to have a global peace. So this is the biggest lesson that Mars, the planet of war, is bringing us. Not to fight outside, because remember, the 19th Jinki, the very beginning of our conversation, it was about finding independence within us, not codependence on the outer world. So now Mars again teaching us not to fight outside with outer world, but to create this revolution within us, in our hearts. So I invite everyone, to think about it and start this revolution. Let's start the revolution in our hearts for global peace. And if you're going to work on your heart, on coming into your heart, on stopping these emotional reactions towards everything which outside world brings you, the peace will dawn very soon. And it's up to us, every single one of us, to bring this peace into our beings, into our hearts, into our minds, into our emotions. And let's go further to Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and we have the 17th Jinki. Oh, sorry. Oh, I missed. That wasn't the Mars. That was the Venus. But again, it's the planet of relationships. So it doesn't matter. It's the Mars or it's still about the relationships, the 49th. Okay, and the Mars is the 16th Jinki. And the 16th Jinki is the shadow of indifference, gift of versatility, and the city of mastery. And indifference is about how indifferent we are to the suffering of others, of the suffering of our close ones, of the suffering of the planet itself. On a global scale, how are we indifferent to our planet Earth? And this shadow is driven by the fear of exiting our comfort zone and fully embracing the change. So yes, here we come to Mars. Mars teaches us the lesson: are we ready for the change? Are we ready to exit our comfort zone? Are we ready to take risk, to be different from others, to stand up for what we believe in? Are we ready for this fight? Because this shadow of indifference makes us the victims of our mind. And at this shadow, we are not ready for anything. We are not ready to become an expert. We are not ready to start the business. We are not ready to act. We are not ready to, move our consciousness to higher frequencies. But the gift of versatility shows us that we are all one consciousness, that we are not separate. Again, unity. So Mars, being such a fiery planet, again reminds us that we are all one. So this battle of Mars is with separation. And also Mars teaches us the gift of enthusiasm. When we're ready to do something, to act, with this energy of enthusiasm, we want to improve something truly, and this energy comes from our heart, not from our fear. It comes from love. It comes to do something better, something good for your fellow human beings, because you realize that we are all one, that our consciousness is one. It's a very good lesson from Mars. Okay, Jupiter, Jinki 17, the shadow of opinion, gift of farsightedness, and the city of omniscience. I also have this Jinki very prominent in my profile. Actually, I have half of these Jinkis in my profile that this year gonna bring. So I'm very excited about this year. So Jupiter, gift 17, gift Jinki 17, shadow of opinion, again separation. Opinions separate us, because once we have an opinion, we have this urge to defend this opinion. We become very serious about this opinion, and we want to defend this opinion, and the root of it is violence. Everyone who does social media, you know, when you put your opinion out there on your page, then you have multiple comments from people whom you didn't even ask to tell you their opinion and fight your opinion. So here you see this shadow at work. So it comes from the duality consciousness again, and because humanity loves drama so much, so we have this urge, to defend, because opinions give us the sense of stability, that now you know what is God, how universe is combined, and this creates major separation. And the gift of farsightedness teaches us to not take life seriously and personally. And we need, the opinions, they create our identities. Our identities cling to these opinions. So we must detach ourselves from the opinions, and opinions can change. It's okay, we don't need to defend them. I'm thinking this now, in a second I might think differently, and it is okay. It is okay. Life is about change, life is impermanent. And everything is just a subjective opinion. Because truth is, the quality of truth is there is no truth in anything, and yet truth is in everything there is. So you can defend your truth as much as you want, but this is not absolute truth. Your logical mind can create, the logical conclusions about this truth, but then I can tell you my truth, and my mind can create the logical explanation of my truth, and we're both going to be right. So relax, everyone is right. So we must stop the separation through our opinions. This is a very important lesson that Jupiter teaches us. Jupiter again about expansion. So how we can expand into this unity consciousness, into this one consciousness of oneness. How we can stop the separation. How we can stop fighting between each other. Look, these opinions, to be vaccinated or not to be vaccinated. Why are you fighting? Let this person be vaccinated, and you quietly don't be vaccinated. Easy as that. It's simple. But you fight, you scream, you go on the streets and you defend your opinion. Why are you doing this? We're all one. Let people do whatever they want. As long as it makes them happy, let them be. And okay, we must give up this identity we put around these opinions. And we must go to our heart to see beyond this opinion, to see the greater truth, to see that the truth is in everything, and yet nothing is true. That life can be wherever you construct it to be. Life is constructed with your opinions and your beliefs, just like Lego. You can unlock it and create a new castle, and a different one. And you can do it every day, a different story, create for yourself. You can create out of yourself a different person every day. That's what actors do. They create different personalities for every role they play. There is no point of fighting about this. And Jupiter wants us to expand into this unity consciousness. Now it's the time to learn all these lessons. You see, all the lessons about the unity. How we can stop the separation, how we can stop the division and become one. Saturn, my favorite planet, the joker of my natal card, my guru. I love Saturn. And I invite all of you to love Saturn and to see the lessons he brings, or it brings, wherever you want to call it. So Saturn, 30th Jinki. Also, this is the Jinki of my radiance. 30th Jinki, the shadow of desire, gift of lightness, and the city of rapture. Desire, same as opinion. Desire leads us to separation because we chase our desires constantly without understanding that desire come and go, come and go, come and go. We just need to learn to observe our desires equanimously. Let this wave of desire, of this emotional wave to pass. We do not need to run after every desire of ours. We need to learn to observe our desires equanimously, to let everything into our lives, good and bad, and become an observer. This is a very big lesson from the Saturn. Because once we chase, once we cling, once we attach to our desires, we become heavy. It's like a burden. We suffer. Desires lead to suffering. Desires makes us suffer. But if we just detach and we observe them from the distance, equanimously, we get into the gift of lightness. We become light, literally and figuratively. We become light like a feather and light like a sun. And this is the biggest gift and the biggest lesson in everyone's life. But now, this year, the very karmic planet, the Saturn, brings this lesson towards us. Can we learn how to be detached? Can we learn this detachment? Can we finally move through these lessons? Because all the attachment creates karma. Saturn is the karmic planet. So can we end this cycle of karmas? But the Jupiter here, if you come into the gift, if you learn Jupiter's lesson, and you come into the gift of farsightedness, you will see what desires are worth be chasing, and what desires are just, because you saw something on the TV or on the social media, and it's not your true desire, and it's not worth your energy or time. So work with the energy of Saturn. Saturn changed the position this year. So in everyone's chart, you have a different position of Saturn now. So it's time for a new lesson, new karmic lesson in your life. And this is the general lesson for humanity. And Saturn stands in a very good position here. So we all have the support to finally learn how to observe desires equanimously, how to be detached. Saturn is very much about detachment and discipline, how we can be disciplined and detached. Then we have Uranus, and we have a second Jinki. Now we come to the Jinki of unity, the second Jinki, the most feminine Jinki, the only truly feminine Jinki in all 64 Jinkis, with the shadow of dislocation, gift of orientation, and the city of unity. You see how all of these planets are teaching us unity. And here we have the Jinki of unity in the chart of 2023. And Uranus is about change, about innovation, about collective. So what change, what innovation, where collective is moving to? We are moving towards unity, but we need to learn all of these lessons along the way. We need to go through all of those shadows, to see them, to allow them to be, to accept them, to embrace them. And then we can change and we can ascend into this unity consciousness. And this location, this shadow, makes us feel like we are out of the flow, that we are in the wrong time, in the wrong place, with the wrong people. But this is all but illusion, because even once we are on the shadow level, we are still in the right place and in the right time. We're still moving for what we need to be moving. And this is just an illusion that if we're gonna do something, something will change. But the truth is, we need to trust life. We are always in the flow, and we just need to let the life flow through us unrestricted. Uranus brings us this lesson. And if we're gonna learn this lesson, then we will see, we will reorient ourselves on our path, and we will see where this path is leading to. This path is leading to unity. This Jinky I have in my pearl. It's my essence, the unity. Maybe this is why it's easier for me to see the oneness behind all the separation and division, to see the unity. And this is truly the northern star where we're going. We are going towards unity. So Uranus collectively pushes us towards the unity consciousness, that we forget all of this separation, all of this division, that we finally see that we are one, that our consciousness is one, that the humanity is just one gigantic organism. And then we have Neptune, and Neptune is about our subconscious, intuition, dreams. So what lesson it brings us? The Jinky 36. Jinky 36 has the shadow of turbulence, gift of humanity, and the city of compassion. Turbulence. It's the collective emotional turbulence. And 2022 was a very turbulent year. So 2023 will continue to be a turbulent year. All the subconscious fears will come up to the surface. How many of you felt during 2022 how all of the subconscious fears raised to the surface, and you felt, unease, and you felt all these fears? Everything was coming up. Everyone has this turbulence. It doesn't matter you were affected by the global events or not. But in some sense, you felt that, I'm sure, in 2022. So this is continuing in 2023. Neptune, our subconscious planet, will keep cleansing us, transforming us. All of these shadows, all of these fears, all of this anger, hatred, it all will come to the surface to be transformed. And this is going to be our lesson, to transform it with ease, with love, with acceptance. This is the only true transformation, when we allow the shadows to go through us, when we are here to face these challenges, the shadows, these fears, we accept them, we embrace them, and then they lose power over us. And this is how we transform and ascend to the higher frequencies. So, brace yourself. This is a good year to come. And this shadow tests through us what is dangerous, what is not. It's about the sexual lust, and it pulls us towards the unknown. So all of this darkness, all of these fears, anxieties will rise up, but do not fear them. Just love them. Love your fears, your anxieties, your insecurities. You are human. It's a part of being human. Just if you will meet it with love, there's going to be no fear in your fear. So this is going to be the lesson of Neptune. And if we're going to go through this lesson, we're going to embrace our sexuality and our emotional turbulence, and we will grow beyond our selfishness. What is selfishness? Again, separation. If I say we're gonna grow beyond our selfishness, it means that we're gonna open up towards oneness and unity. Again, this is the lesson of 2023. If only we can learn it. We're gonna open our hearts. We will communicate clearly. These emotional reactions which Venus is bringing us will stop. And we can make this revolution in our hearts. We can awaken to love and to unity and to oneness. So you see how beautiful can this 2023 be? And how ugly it can be if we're going to live it through shadow. And we have 9 minutes. Last planet, Pluto. Pluto is about transformation of everything that we do not longer need. So everything which is old, all patterns will be cut out. And we have the Jinki 60. The shadow of limitation, gift of realism, and the city of justice. Limitations. Again, we have the theme of limitations. When the COVID started, it was the greatest limitation of the past decades for humanity. So many of us didn't understand the lesson. We were separated. We were put into our homes, isolated from our communities, with one single goal: to dive into our heart, to explore our consciousness, our mind, and to work on our fears, on our shadows, to be ready for what's to come, which is now, 2022, 2023. That was just for us to get ready. But how many of us didn't understand that lesson? How many of us didn't look within? But we're chatting in the internet, in all these chats. So much noise was in 2020. But that was just for us, for our highest good, those limitations, that we can become ready for these years. So the 60th shadow of limitation, it makes us distrust the flow of life. Again, so many people distrusted all the limitations imposed, that they cannot travel, they can see their families. But as I said, it was for our highest good, but so many people were reacting from the shadow frequency towards those events. Also, the 60th Jinki, it's about structures and patterns, and how we over-rely on our structures and patterns, how we over-rely on the structures imposed by the society. Again, we come into this beginning, to the 24th Jinki, independence, self-reliance. Can you rely on yourself if all the structures will collapse? If there is no supermarkets, no hospitals, if there is, no police, can you survive? Can you rely on yourself, on your knowledge that you gain throughout your life? Are you self-reliant, or you over-relying on the outside authorities, outside structures? Especially in US here, how many people are so in their comfort zone, they so rely on the government, on the structures, on US itself as, as an archetype. They're so scared to travel out of the country. So many people never traveled outside of the country because they think something dangerous will happen to them there, and it's all in the air. So there are going to be some limitations for sure, but limitations for our highest good. If we're going to see wherever limitations going to come our way as limitations for our highest good, to learn a lesson, then the lesson itself will be learned. And we're going to come into the gift of realism. We will understand the laws of this material reality, the laws of form, and we will understand that all the structures are impermanent. Structures come, mature, mutate, and go. And then comes another structure and another structure. And also, this realism is very much about the magic. It's very much about the magic because we can understand that all the structures is just illusions, and the most limitations are inside our mind. Our mind structures things into the boxes, again, separation. Structures of religion, of government, of nationalities. We structure, we, how you say, you, I forgot the word. You categorize people and things by race, by religion, by nationality, by gender. All the structures, all these boxes, again, separateness. Understand that it's all an illusion, we're all one. So we have 4 minutes left, and to sum up all of this, it will be a beautiful year and be a challenging year. But there's a beauty in a challenge, because once you're going through transformation, you have the luxury to witness the both sides, how it was and how it became. You have this luxury to be both the shadow and the light. So it depends upon every single one of us what 2023 will be. Because this is how destiny works. You see what energies are in front of us, but on what vibrational frequency we will move through these energies can bring completely different realities. We can be, diving into war further, or we can come out into light, into oneness and unity. And this depends on every single one of us. This is the only thing we can do for humanity. This is the only thing we can do for Earth, is to work on ourselves and create this revolution within our heart. To tame our emotional reactions. To see clearly through all the divisions, through all separation that we created. To see past this illusion of separation and see the end goal. To see where we're all hidden. And that destination was always here, which is covered in smoke of separation. Unity and oneness, this destination is not, again, it's not out of that, somewhere out of there. It's within us. It was always here in your heart. Hope it was helpful. I need to save this.